Hi, gang. It's Patrick.
And Kale.
Coming up on today's episode, we get so emotional, baby, as we reveal our Fab-Five Disney moments that make us cry. As always, we discuss the latest Disney news, and we close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Kale, tears will be the chaser for your wine, English.
Patrick, this part isn't fun for me anymore now that the other co-hosts have stole my gig. Kazuki!
Oh boy.
Yeah, shade. That's shade. Yep.
Oh, boy.
Meant it to be. Yeah.
Okay, calling out the other hosts.
Or calling myself out for carrying it, apparently. Just kidding.
Oh, good. I'm glad that you made my name all about yourself.
Yes!
Fantastic.
How are you, Patrick?
Fantastic. I'm great. I feel like we need to address why you called out the other host just randomly now.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Just starting, get your umbrellas out, everybody.
So
it's
since my first episode, I have always thought it was hilarious to insert a monologue in between your first and last name, right? And the other two hosts have adopted that. And so I'm both flattered and also a victim.
Well, okay,
that is going, listen, that's the name of my memoir, Flattered Victim.
Flattered Victim. Fair. To be fair, they do song lyrics and you do movie quotes. So it's a little bit different.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. The punchline is that there is a ton of words between the first and last name. Because you always keep it really simple and funny, to the point. And then, but it's fine. I've reached out to each of them individually, told them what to expect physically. So
don't open any mail from Kale in the next week or two. Oh, heavens. Okay. Oh, heavens.
So now
Kale,
how are you?
Oh, well, I'm good. You know what? I am good. I'm really good, actually. I'm in sort of a project state of mind right now.
Okay.
I'm like touching earth. I'm like working on some gardening, building some tomato plants. Is that what you say? You say building?
Mr.
I'm building
Green,
some tomato.
I have no idea. I think you're talking to the wrong. Are you?
Right.
Are you?
You don't step on anything that isn't plastic. That's fair.
You remembered you were part of that whole time of my life where I accidentally watered that plastic orchid for 2 years. You were present for So
I was there for that.
Nope.
This is true. Okay, so I'm doing that. I'm doing like house projects, weird stuff like let me regrout the bathtub and let me scrub the tiles here to get them extra clean. I'm just like looking for things to do. So
that's fun though.
Right now. It is. It's really fun actually. I think I'm just it's like meditative for me, which is a really good thing.
Yeah, nice. There is something weirdly like this is going to sound absurd, but anytime like you see something dirty and you're cleaning it and you physically see it get cleaner. like the shower for me is that, but also we have a fence in the backyard, and if I'm ever pressure washing it and see, it's the most satisfying.
It's so soothing
in the world. Yeah,
and you also feel a little gross of like that was so dirty that I've been living in.
I was twerking again. Living. Sorry.
Well, okay, you went a different direction with that, but
sorry.
Fantastic. How are you, Kale?
Honestly, I feel like I'm doing really good right now too.
Great.
I've actually been running a little bit back to it. When I say running, I use it very lightly. I'm not 10K ready or anything, and there's not really a plan. Just really trying to be more active. And I also just got my Run Disney medals in the mail for the virtual series.
Me too. They just came today.
No, so I have to tell you, I'm a tiny bit underwhelmed with the design.
You know, I don't disagree with you. I like them, and they're special and unique in that they're the 100th anniversary.
Right.
But they're economical in that they just reused the same metal 3 times and put a different little spinny on them.
No, yeah, that's exactly what happened because, they're hurting for money.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, no. But truly, I'm doing really, really good. I feel like I'm in a very good place mentally.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I feel nice.
Well, I'm glad. And good for you for getting back into running. I know it's a really hard thing to get back into once you stop.
It's the worst. It's
really
the absolute worst. Because I'm not, even a couple years ago when I was running every day, I don't consider myself a runner because I like no part of running. I don't like putting shoes on, the warm up, the run, the cool down, the nothing. I've never experienced runner's high. I'm serious.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get back into it. And it's so
totally
hot in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, all over the country right now. Yeah, it's rough outside. Do you know what bothers me? It doesn't bother me. I'm actually really proud of people. I'm not a fast runner by any stretch of the imagination. I never will be, never have been. But when I'm scrolling through other runners, people who do run Disney that I've connected through on Instagram, and they post things and I'm always so proud of them, but I'm always like, okay. When they're like, oh, not my best day, and they're like 5-minute miles, and I'm like, okay.
Listen, I know. No, you took it right out of my mouth. If I get an 11-minute mile, I'm like, am I the Flash?
I know. I'm like,
yeah.
Am I faster than cars?
Am I Sea Biscuit? I know.
Am I part rabbit? This is amazing.
I know. No, but you're right. Like when they were like, oh, not my greatest because it's like 5 minute and 1 second average mile.
I know. It's amazing. I'm simply just jealous. That's the only reason I'm bringing
Same.
it up. I'm actually just jealous, but
yes.
I'm also like defeated sometimes when I see those.
Oh,
things.
for sure, yeah. Especially, I mean, this is not shade. I don't. But your legs. So like 1 stride for me is probably like what 3 for you.
Right. Yeah.
And so
it's like Barney Rubble, like ramping up to start running is you like 5 blocks away.
Yeah. And so it's even like with my very long stride with my legs, sometimes it still is discouraging when I see people like that I've only averaged like a 10-minute mile, but whatever.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? We're all on our own journey. And
that's
for
right.
me, it's never been about speed, but it's sometimes about speed when I see really fast runners. I'm like, I really do wish.
I know. But like, here's the thing. Like, part of me is sometimes like, ooh, the faster you run, the faster you're done. But then it's about distance. And then I get mad. You know?
Get it.
Or time. If you do it for time, it doesn't matter how fast you run. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're like, I'm running for 30 minutes.
What's the freaking point?
I know.
It's about the destination and the journey when it comes to running, Kale. Nope, not for you. Okay, great. Well, let's move on. We have a lot of episode to get through.
Yes.
So many things to talk about. We have a couple of admin items just to get through before we get into the bulk of the episode. We are our plan is to start banking some questions in Peter Panzer's episodes so we can maybe take some time off during the holidays, things like that. So we want all of you to send us your questions. Start emailing them, start sending them on Instagram, however you want to get carrier pigeon, whatever you need to do. Send us those questions and Peter Panzer's questions because we have some recordings coming up for those episodes. Also, in 2-3 episodes from now, we'll be doing a Galactic Star Cruiser full trip report. So before I go on the Galactic Star Cruiser in a couple of weeks, send us your questions. Do you have any questions about what I should look for? Anything related to how things work on the ship, characters you can meet? Let me know. I will look out for them, and maybe I'll post some Instagram photos while I'm there as well.
Nice.
Yas Queen. Yes, Queen. Also, Kale, this is our 225th episode. Can you believe it?
I know. That's amazing.
It's crazy.
It only seems
crazy.
like I've done like 10 or 12.
I don't think you've even done that.
No, I don't think so. I think it's maybe 8. But
it seems to me like you've done 100, but you've only done a couple of them.
But you've literally done 225.
I think so. One episode may have been like a repeat episode, or sometimes we do like best of quick D. So not really, but we have sent out 225 episodes now to
That's
Apple
amazing.
Podcast, and yeah, super exciting. Which also means that this September will be 5 years of Gaze to the D. I mean, can you even
That's
picture
incredible.
yourself 5 years ago?
I looked exactly the same.
You sure did. You haven't emotionally aged a bit.
Not. Nope. Not
Since then.
Nope.
Since then. I have to say, I'm building like a little bit of I'm trying to, let's see, I don't know if it'll work out, a little sizzle reel of like Gaze to the D through the years for the anniversary episode.
Yeah.
And it's night and day from where we've been to where we are now. It's really funny. I'm excited
I bet it. So, because to me, like, I feel like one of the things that all three of us, the new co-hosts, really all talked about was wanting to remain true to the podcast. And so I still feel like it gives me the same vibe that it used to when I would listen to you and Adam. But I bet it is interesting to go back and hear the evolution of it. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, the first couple episodes we were like on NPR. You know, we were just like, welcome to Gaze DVD. This is Patrick and you know what I mean? Like, we were very saccharine about it a little bit. The format is roughly the same. We're just a little more rough around the edges now, which is great. But it's really funny. I can't wait for you guys to listen to it. So 5 years.
I know. Goodness. That's amazing, right?
It is amazing.
It literally only feels like I've been doing it for like maybe like almost a year.
Well, that's exactly how long you've been doing it, so it should feel that way.
It's insane. I've been doing it so long already.
I know your contract is almost up. Thank goodness.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, another thing to announce, I think we talked about it already, and we definitely announced it on Instagram, and all of our Patreon members are aware of it. But this July 31st, we're having our very first Happiest Hour on Zoom for all of our Patreon members.
Come get drunk.
I mean, or just have whatever is responsible for you.
No. It's the happiest hour on earth.
And
it's not the let's be the most careful hour on earth. Okay.
Kale wants you all to get sloshed, just wasted and sloshed.
Yep.
That's what happens.
Hey.
So if you do want to join us, it's not too late. You can still join our Patreon page, which you can find by going to gazetothed.com and clicking on the donate button. And say it with me, everybody, for as little as $1 reoccurring a month, you too can become a member of our Patreon family, which gives you extra perks like the Happiest Hour on Zoom, like Patreon-only giveaways, like extra episodes of Gaze to the D Raw and Uncut, and hopefully some more exciting things coming up later this year.
Yes.
Very exciting. Okay, all of that out of the way, Kale, let's get into I'm Celebrating.
This is my favorite part.
Aw, me too, actually. I really love
celebrating
our
celebrating.
tweetles. Well, get us into it.
Okay, I will. So at Mark Runs Disney, my husband... Okay, so this is... I need to tell you, this is... It says in the spreadsheet, my husband. And for
sorry.
a split... No, I didn't realize it was a typo because there are all these terms like husbear and so for a split second, I was trying to figure out what husband did mean, but now I understand it is, it is a typo.
Patrick is just overworked and underpaid.
Okay. At Mark Runs Disney, my husband, Justin, and I celebrated 6 years of marriage and 26 years together.
That's incredible.
That is incredible.
Incredible. Also, the two of them are incredible. I met them in the parks, and they are a delight. So congratulations. Happy anniversary.
Nice. Yes.
Moving on, we have at PJW _ at _ WDW saying, next step of a project I'm spearheading at work. Interesting.
Yes. We know the stress as well. So, you know. So join us at the Happiest Hour on Zoom.
Yes, please.
Decompress. At Sean Cruz took my 1-year-old niece to Disneyland for her first trip ever.
Aww.
That's adorable.
That.
Send us a picture. Do you have pictures?
Oh, yeah, absolutely do that.
Sean Cruz, send a picture.
What are you doing with your life? Why aren't you sending pictures?
What's your deal? Does Sean Cruz have a problem?
Wow. He does now with you, apparently, Kale. Moving on, at Just Jeff Riffle, saying, I sold 20 pieces of my art this past weekend at an art fair I was in. That's amazing. I have to know that Jeff, at Just Jeff Riffle, is a really incredible artist. I believe he's based in Canada, and you can find his Instagram art profile at Jeff Riffle Art. That's RIFFLE Art. And you can shop his art by going to jeffriffleart.com. There's a really amazing cuckoo clock collection that he's done. These like obscure, almost like Salvador Dali type kind of clocks. They're really amazing. Yeah, I want one. I'm just saying, Jeff, if you want to send me one, I'm not going to be mad about it.
That's 20 pieces is a lot, Jeff. That's amazing.
That's a lot. Congratulations. And just goes to show you that he's a really good artist.
Yeah, it also feels like you could probably join the Patreon as well. But anyway, at Magical Travels with Randy.
I believe he is.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. At Magical Travels with Randy, about to start my new job.
Ooh.
What is the job, Randy? Randy's a gym, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
I see it. He's in the parks a lot. I feel like I see him almost
it seems
every
like
time
every
I'm there.
weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish.
No, but let me tell you what's funny is that I've never met him in the parks. He's also in Atlanta. I've also never met him in Atlanta. Randy.
Okay. Kale is avoiding you, apparently.
No, Randy. No, it's going to happen. Randy, we're hanging out.
Yes, you are. Moving on, we have at AkioPixie319 saying, much needed trip to Disneyland next week. I'm ready for all the magic. Well, we hope you get all of the magic.
Same. At Allie_Joy_W, first week of summer grad school classes and 1 month until my wedding.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
I believe we missed our invitations in the mail, Kale.
Yeah, I can't seem to find mine.
So
at
strange.
Allie_Joy_W.
Do you know, I do have a wish, and Allie, I mean, if you're listening, now's the time, that we, as Gays Do the D hosts, would officiate a wedding at some point. I would love that.
And Allie, because we're all friends here, I would like to know, which one of those things are you most excited about? Grad school or wedding? Let us know.
Definitely grad school. Absolutely. Well, thank you, everybody, for sending us in your celebrations. We love celebrating with you. Kale, are you celebrating anything this week?
No.
Great. Fantastic. Good chat.
I'm celebrating all of you guys.
Oh, well, that's sweet. And a lie. Well, let's move on, Kale, to some listener feedback. We got a lot of email over the past couple of weeks. Do you want to dive into some emails?
Sure, gladly. Okay, this first one is from Julie. Dear gays, where have you been all my life? I've been listening to other Disney podcasts for years and only recently found y'all. We're family. Yes. Well, thank you for so many LOL moments. I'm still laughing about Ryan motorboating Zeus. In all seriousness, I really appreciate hearing your perspective on all things Disney, especially in light of the recent legislation and the attacks on the LGBTQ community. I love hearing how you are taking care of yourselves and each other and making space for joy. Joy truly is an act of resistance. Thank you for sharing your joy with all of us. Sending hugs and rainbows, Julie.
Ooh.
Julie.
Stop.
Julie.
I love that. What a wonderful email. And thanks for finding us. And I want to know a couple of things. How did you find us? And who are these other podcasts you're listening to?
And has it stopped? I'm just kidding. No, I love Julie.
Why?
I'm not trying to be dramatic, but I would die for her.
Oh, yeah, that's not dramatic at all. That feels correct.
Perfect.
Our next email is from Lisa, who says, hello. First of all, I would like to say thank you for your podcast. You're welcome, Lisa. I mean, she goes on to say, it's such a bright spot in my day to listen to it while I'm at work. You should be working, maybe.
You should be working, Lisa.
Listen.
You know what? No. You know, we're not your parents. We're not. We're not your boss.
That's right. Lisa then says, I just listened to your celebrating Pride at Walt Disney World and noticed that you mentioned the possibility of Vi Moradi being in the new open world Star Wars game. It was pointed out that she was black, but I also wanted to let you know that according to the books, which are canon, she is also ace. She states that she has never felt attraction to anyone of any gender. I thought that this being Pride Month, her orientation should be highlighted and celebrated. Keep up the wonderful content. That's interesting. I did not know that. Thank you for that.
That's fascinating.
That's really fascinating. That's so specifically called out as well. I think that maybe they will call it out if they do make her a character in the series. That would be interesting.
Nice
if they called that out. Yeah. Thank you for letting us know, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. Daniel writes, "Hey guys, I hope you all had a good 4th of July weekend. I love you all and love the podcast. I did have a little response to the most recent Elemental review episode. While I hear what y'all said about..." I love all the y'all. When I hear what y'all said about there being so many different plot threads being tied together, I think it was important for them to include the romantic storyline because the trials and tribulations of dating outside your ethnicity is such a big part of being an immigrant. My siblings and I are first-generation immigrants to the U.S., and almost all of us have wrestled with this issue to some degree. So while I agree that not every Disney protagonist needs a love interest, go Elsa, go Judy Hopps, go Moana, I think in this case that it was actually an important component of telling the immigrant story. For what it's worth, I also wanted to applaud the story writers of Elemental for managing to craft a story without a villain character, because those are quite hard to put together. Thank you all for everything you do for the community. Heart emoji, clap emoji, praise hands emoji. I look forward to the podcast every week.
Aw, Daniel, are you a new host on the podcast? What interesting points you brought up.
I know. That was good.
Yeah.
That was very good, Daniel.
Absolutely, and definitely gave me something to think about in sewing the relationship specifically between two cultural groups who are not necessarily in with each other. That's such a fascinating point, and thank you for bringing that up. And also, I didn't even realize that there wasn't. I mean, of course, I realized that I watched the movie, but I didn't track that. Of course, there was no villain in this movie, really, other than sort of like society itself was the villain, I guess.
And Daniel, here's the deal: I wasn't on that episode, and I haven't seen this movie yet. So if ever these fools are acting up, call them out. I got this.
100%.
Okay?
No.
Just do it.
Oh, thank you so much, Kale. Thank you for that. And thank you, Daniel, Lisa, and Julie, for your very thoughtful emails. We love to see it.
Hey, Patrick.
Yes, Kale.
Are you ready to skip this week in Disney history?
No, I'm not. I'm going to do it while you take a potty break. You take a potty break while I do this, Kale?
Figured. No. Oh, so there's no quiz? I can go to the bathroom?
Oh, there's 100% a quiz.
Okay. All right. I am ready.
I'm ready. Here we go.
This Secret word.
Okay. Now we're done. We're moving on to the news. No, this week in Disney history on July 17th, 1955, 68 years ago, Kale, with a price tag of $17 million and built over 160 acres, what opened on this date?
Oh my God. Say it again.
Well, it opened on July 17th, 1955. It cost just $17 million. Think about that in 1955 dollars, though. And it was built over 160 acres. What opened on this date? Everyone is going to come for you with this one. I promise you.
It's Disneyland.
It is Disneyland. Were you looking at? Did you Google that just now?
No, I was. No, I was trying to make you have a panic attack. But
oh no, I truly believe that you did not know that. So
what? Are you serious?
Yeah. Yes.
No, I love to give you in the state of California a hard time.
It's true. It's true. So happy birthday, Disneyland. And speaking of birthdays, Kale, on July 17th, 1929, so 94 years ago, a woman named Helene Stanley was born in Gary, Indiana. Stanley played Polly Crockett in 1955's Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier. She also was involved in 1950's Cinderella, 1959's Sleeping Beauty, and 1961's 101 Dalmatians. Kale, what was her role in all three of those films?
Oh, God. This one, I honestly don't know. I'm not acting.
Fair. Do you want to venture a guess?
Rebecca?
So close. Incorrect, though. She was the live-action model for Cinderella, Aurora, and Anita.
Very nice. Anita's
Isn't that cool?
fierce. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I didn't even realize. So if you do look at all three of those characters, they are very similar in like stature and appearance. And go ahead and look up some photos of Helene Stanley and you will see the resemblance of all three of those characters. There's some really
Nice.
fun photos of her in some of the costumes as well, which is really cool to see.
Helene is also such an underrated name.
Oh, I love it. That's such a great name.
It's
too.
so
And
good, right?
It's her
Helene.
stage name, and so she made it up as well. It's like fierce.
She thunked it up. I bet she's the first person ever named Helene, except for
I
that one
certainly
in
hope.
War and Peace. Yeah.
Except for that one. Well, happy birthday, Helene Stanley.
Happy
And
birthday.
That closes your favorite segment this week in Disney history, Kale. Are you so happy to be out of it?
No, I enjoy it every time.
Oh, okay, great. Well, what does that mean? What's up next, Kale?
News. Talking about news.
It's true. Let's
Yep.
get out of here and get into the news.
Okay. Hey, Patrick.
What up, Kale?
Did you hear what's happening until 2026?
They are changing the cheeseburger egg rolls that are in Walt Disney World. Is that what it is?
Listen, that would be devastating. That would be the worst news. What if they did? What if one day they did and they didn't tell anybody?
They did actually swap out the like pastrami one for like a chicken and something one. So they did actually do a switch. They still have the cheeseburger ones, but they have Anyways, this is off track. What's going on, Kale?
Wait, but hold on. There used to be a pastrami one?
I think so. Or it was like, I can't remember.
I've only ever known the pizza.
One.
The pizza. There's a pepperoni pizza in there? Like it's like pepperoni and then
they switch the other one a lot though. So sometimes it's a Philly cheesesteak and
it's like
sometimes
rotated.
it's a pastrami thing.
You're the cheeseburger spring roll, and then me and Ryan and JT are the pepperoni, the pastrami, the That makes sense. Which one of us is which?
I will let the Tweedles decide that one. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Okay. Well, so back on track. Bob Iger will stay Disney CEO through 2026.
The story heard round the world.
Round the world. Did your inbox get blown TF up?
It was like on fire and flooded at the same time.
Same. Yeah. Text messages, calls, FaceTimes.
Right. Yeah. People who were dead were like, did you hear?
Yeah, Telegram. Right. Yeah. I know. I was just like, I'm trying to go to bed. Marilyn, stop it. But yes. In a unanimous vote, the Walt Disney Company Board of Directors approved Bob Iger to stay on as CEO through December 31st, 2026, an additional 2 years beyond his original contract.
It's very true. There's also a quote from the Walt Disney Company chairman, Mark G. Parker, who said that time and time again, Bob has shown an unparalleled ability to successfully transform Disney to drive future growth and financial returns, earning him a reputation as one of the world's best CEOs. Bob has once again set Disney on the right strategic path for ongoing value creation and to ensure the successful completion of this transformation, while also allowing ample time to position a new CEO for long-term success.
In a memo from Bob Iger to the employees, dear fellow employees, I want to thank you for your tremendous dedication, patience, and optimism as we've taken important steps to reposition the company for enduring creative and financial success. Since my return to Disney just 7 months ago, I've examined virtually every facet of our businesses to fully understand the tremendous opportunities before us, as well as the challenges we face on numerous fronts. We've made important and sometimes difficult decisions to address some existing structural and efficiency issues, and I'm proud of what we've been able to achieve together. But there is more to accomplish before this transformative work is complete, and I'm committed to seeing this through. To that end, I am writing to share that I have agreed to the Disney Board's request to remain CEO for an additional 2 years through the end of 2026. As I've said many times since we began this important transformation of the company, our progress will not be linear as we continue navigating a difficult economic environment and the tectonic shifts occurring in our industry. This is a moment that requires us to remain steadfast, strategic, and clear-eyed about the road ahead. It is also important to me that Disney is strongly positioned when my successor takes the helm. As the board continues to evaluate a highly qualified slate of internal and external candidates, I remain intensely focused on a successful CEO transition. Through it all, he's long-winded. Through it all, I am unwaveringly optimistic about Disney's future. I believe in this company. I believe in the leadership team I have around me, and I believe in you, our spectacular employees and cast members. It's an honor to work alongside you as we chart Disney's path forward together, and I look forward to all that we will continue to achieve over the coming years.
I mean, that's a good letter. I
think so.
Yeah,
I do.
He's well spoken, if nothing else.
Yeah, he always is well spoken. He always has a good way with words, even if a little vague. But
true story. So a lot of people are really happy about this. I mean, a lot of the fans. I mean, he's probably the most, if not at least one of the most beloved CEOs of Disney from the fans, and he's one of the most respected CEOs, as the chairman said, around the world. But you and I had been talking a little bit off.
Yes,
I won't say off camera, but off script.
Always
here.
on camera.
and it's not all, fun and roses at Disney right now, right?
It's not. And it's sort of, I think that it's one of those things where I can really, really love the player and dislike the game, right? I've always thought the world of him. I was so glad that he came back originally. Right. And when a lot of people were devastated that he was stepping down from Disney, I was actually excited because I thought he was gearing up for a presidential run. And so, or not really thought, but had hoped deeply, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so when that didn't happen, and then he, announced his comeback, I was ecstatic. I feel like it's a vulnerable time at Disney, specifically Walt Disney World, given the current climate in Florida, I sometimes think, I know that this was not something that was timed by Disney or by Iger or by the board, but it just seems like it might be a weird time. I don't know. It just seems like it might be a weird time to celebrate something with everything else going on, as excited as I am about him staying on. Do you know what I mean? I also have recently read that in regards to the actor and writer strike, that he did say that he found some of their requests unrealistic and thought the strike was very disturbing. That's not a lot of context.
Yeah,
I would like for him to speak more on that before a rash decision on my part is made.
Fair enough.
But always a fan of him. But you're right. It's a time for Disney. I'm not saying a good time or a bad time, but truly, this one day there'll be a documentary about this time of Disney, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I totally, I mean, no CEO or person is without their faults, and so right. I totally hear that, and I hope more comes out about that statement. I haven't heard anything about it, so I can't really speak on it at all at this point. But if something bigger comes out, we'll be sure to report on it. I will say that whether or not anyone's a fan of Bob Iger, it can't be denied that he has definitely led the company in an upward trajectory twice now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They're not in the clear right now, but also I think it would be a mistake for them to install a CEO who wasn't ready, especially during this time. Like, backing up everything you said, like, it's a muddy time for Disney right now.
Oh, it absolutely is.
And and I think a changing of the guards right now would just be disastrous. It would be really difficult to put someone in that position, and I wouldn't envy anyone, and they'd have to be a superhero to take over at this time for Bob Iger.
Seriously, I don't have the nervous system. I don't want it. Do you know what I mean? But also, I will say too, I mean, you're absolutely correct in that. And even, when I say this, I don't want to feel like I'm dogging anybody or talking about anybody, but let's say, for example, that he had not come back, right? I personally don't believe Disney ever would have spoken out against what's happening in Florida. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm not saying anybody's name particularly, but I don't think that ever would have happened. And so for that, I'm insanely thankful. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think for that reason alone, we should be, I don't know if thankful is the word, but like reassured in that he will follow through with that lawsuit and everything that's going on, and specifically in Florida, that we have somebody who's going to be, sort of a constant leader
Yes.
in that. So, and then hopefully he'll see that through, and somebody else will be coming in and taking over for him. Remains to be seen.
Yes. And then in 2026, when he is ready to retire, my ring finger is vacant.
Fair enough. And he'll be ready to go for a presidential bid at that point as well. So you never know.
I'm first, Kale.
Okay, fair. First, Kale. All right, well, let's move on to some, I guess, less interesting, unless you really like the Eat to the Beat concert series for Wine and Dine, which, can we talk about for a split second that Wine and Dine starts in July now?
Listen, I
That's
know
insane.
No, I'm one of those people that gets really frustrated when people are like, Halloween's over, it's Christmas now. But I am fine with food and wine being all year round. It would not bother me.
I almost wish that it just would be then. Like, it's just
Same.
always food and wine with a holiday theme, with a springtime theme, with a whatever. It's just always...
Right.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I know. I love food and wine.
Same. I do too. I think in my head, it's always associated with the fall, though.
It is.
Now that it's starting in July, it's like, okay, no longer.
No, you're absolutely correct. Because when me and the Steamboat Willies used to go, I can always remember Epcot was always food and wine. Magic Kingdom was always Mickey's Not So Scary. Like, it was the way that and so now, you're right.
Now it's just like...
Yeah.
Half the year
eating,
wine and dine.
It's us going in July, going to food and wine, and then looking ridiculous in tiny bathing suits after eating all day, right? So,
well, you'll never see me in a tiny bathing suit. But so, all that to be said, the Eat to the Beat concert series dining package pricing and details have been announced for the 2023 Eat to the Beat concert series at Epcot for the Food and Wine Festival. So the dining packages that you can get all include a full meal with at least 2 courses, depending on where you go at participating restaurants. Plus, you get guaranteed seating at that day's concert. The locations that are participating in the Eat to the Beat series are Akershus at the Royal Banquet in the Norway Pavilion, the Biergarten Restaurant in the Germany Pavilion, Coral Reef Restaurant at the Living Seas, Garden Grill Restaurant at the Land Pavilion, Le Cellier Steakhouse at the Canada Pavilion, the Regal Eagle Smokehouse, though they only offer same-day dining packages. So if you haven't planned, go there because you can get a same-day dining package. The Rose and Crown Dining Room at the United Kingdom Pavilion, and Spice Road Table at the Morocco Pavilion. And then when it comes to pricing, prices range from $35 to $95, depending on where you go for adult guests 10 and up, and then $24 to $46 for children 3 to 9.
And then once you're done eating, if you're looking to dance until you throw up, sorry.
Wow. I mean, you're not wrong. Like, after you've had a big meal at the beer garden, do you really want to go to a concert?
No, I can't imagine. But do you ever go to the Eat to the Beat?
I have not for Wine and Dine. I've done it for not the Eat, but I've been to the Broadway series for the
it's
Festival
my
of the Arts.
favorite thing. I know. Sorry, we got off topic, but that's my favorite thing. I'm sorry. But if you do want to dance, the lineup will include Tiffany, August 6th and 7th, Ruben Studdard, August 11th and 12th, Joey Fatone and Friends, August 18th through the 21st, the Baha Men, that surprised me to read, September 1st and 2nd, Boys to Men, September 29th and 30th, and October 1st and October 2nd, Sugar Ray, that also surprised me to read.
I mean...
October 8th and 9th, and Taylor Dane, October 20th and 21st.
And we should note that these are just some of the acts that will be there. A lot of them were people
I noticed
I
you
had
left
no
off
idea who
Hanson.
they were. I did leave off Hanson.
Hanson always, yeah.
It's true.
Wow.
It's true. When I look at the list for Eat to the Beat, I always think, oh, they're still alive. You know what I mean?
No, seriously. When I just read Baha Men, I was like, wow, I haven't heard the Baha, like I haven't heard the term. But,
yeah. It's pretty wild.
Broadway series.
The Broadway series is much better.
It's the best.
For the full lineup and specific dining options, you can head over to disneyworld.go.com and search Eat to the Beat. Have you done an Eat to the Beat concert series before?
Yes, actually, for two years in a row, we saw Taylor Dane, I think.
Oh,
I'm pretty
okay.
sure. Yes.
Is Taylor Dane the "Tell It to My Heart"?
Yes.
Tell me. Okay, that's the only song I know of Taylor Dane.
There was like it's funny because, typically for those concerts, there's not an insane like line or you can pretty much go sit down whenever you're ready. There was one Taylor Dane series that we saw there where it was there was a line to get in, and it was just a gaggle of gays. Just every gay in Orlando was there to see Taylor Dane. And
Fair. Yeah. And you don't have to wait in line if you get a Eat to the Beat concert series dining package.
And then she performed at Mar-a-Lago, and then the next year had no line.
Oh,
just saying.
Oh, Taylor. Okay, well, tell it to my heart, Taylor Dane. To my heart. All right, what's our last story of the day, Kale?
Last story of the day is Muppet Labs coming to the 2023 Epcot International Food and Wine Festival.
Apparently in 1 week.
Yep, in 1 week. New this year at the Food and Wine Festival, the Muppets Brew Wing Lab at the Odyssey. That's what they're calling it?
I think so. I think it's called the Muppets Brew Wing Lab. BREW-wing, WING.
I don't think I care for it. But Dr. Bunsen, Honeydew, and Beaker of Muppet Labs welcome guests to their taste testing headquarters, where the duo have created snacks and beverages as only the Muppets can. Offerings will include the unnecessarily spicy yet extremely tasty Scotch bonnet pepper curry wings and the pickle milkshake. A pickle milkshake.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to try the pickle milkshake, Kale?
I absolutely am not.
I bet it's like the best. I bet it's the best thing there, though. Honestly, I bet you anything. Usually things that are like that, people are like...
Pickle and milk?
It does sound gross. Have you ever had a pickle martini, though? So good.
No.
Oh,
have you ever had a margarita with salt?
Yes.
Have you? Then why would you have anything else?
Wow. Fair. Oh,
and that's the news.
You're amazing. No, I want to talk about it for a second because this I feel like I love this. I love that.
I do. I actually do love the Muppets.
I love when they use the Muppets for things like this. I think this is the Muppet sweet spot. Is like random stuff like this. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. I agree completely. I also think that there's not enough representation of them outside of Hollywood studios, and so I think it'll be cool to incorporate them into Food and Wine.
100% that. My wish is that they would actually be there, though. Like there was actually Muppets happening there, because it's at the Odyssey, so they could do something. They could do like a cute little Muppet show or something.
Should we audition to be Muppets? Who would you, of all the Muppets, which one are you? No, you pick mine, I pick yours.
Oh,
what Muppet am I?
Well, I think that you're Beaker, probably. Or Animal, or your Animal.
Animal is my favorite, so I will take Animal.
Okay, great. Oh, you're going to give me Miss Piggy, aren't you?
No, I would not give you Miss Piggy. I think you're probably Kermit, to be honest. No, I would. I really think so. I think, well, of course.
Amazing. I'll take it. We should probably stop recording now because that's the nicest thing you're going to say to me.
Okay, but no, let's keep going. So Ryan would be Fozzie.
I was 100% going to say Fozzie or Ralph, or maybe Ralph.
So who is JT?
Skeeter, obviously. Don't you think?
I don't know why I wanted to say Sam Eagle. Why, though? Because it's not true at all.
No.
But why?
It's not. No, it's not true. I think Skeeter, because Skeeter is like the smart and practical
Skeeter
one.
for sure. Yes, he's absolutely Skeeter.
Yeah. Oh, Tweedle's right into us.
Are we the four main good ones?
Someone needs to
That's
do
amazing.
Fan art of the four hosts as the Muppets.
As the Muppets. As
Challenge.
Patrick as Kermit, me as Animal, Ryan as Fozzie, JT as Skeeter.
I think that Ryan is giving me Ralph energy instead of Fozzie.
I don't know. Ryan's more funny.
Okay, fair.
I like Ralph. But I think that yeah.
Okay. You heard it here first, folks. Ryan as Fozzie. What do you think, Fozzie. Tweedles? Let us know.
Let us know.
Hard-hitting news here on Gaze Through the TV.
Okay, so before this goes any further, I have to call you out in front of everybody on something you did the other day.
What did I do? What I did?
Okay, so for everybody at home, I am famously a very bad texter. I only like to really talk on the phone, which I know is strange. So Patrick and I will talk on the phone sometimes a couple nights a week, right? Mm-hmm. And the other week, we were talking on the phone, and I was having a beverage that was non-alcoholic, but when I told Patrick what it was, he referred to it as sugar tea instead of sweet tea. And I have thought about it once a day since it happened. You could not believe that I was drinking sweet tea.
Yeah.
And not only that, but refused to call it sweet tea. I said it was sweet tea, and you said, like, sugar tea?
Yeah. Sugar tea.
It's my favorite. Is that what you call it?
No, but it's just because sweet tea is like, I don't know. It reminds me of like, remember when you were a kid, and maybe this is just me, when you would pour a bowl of cereal and put like 3 scoops of sugar on it or something, and then it just tastes like sugar milk at the end of it.
Oh, kinda, yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
That's what it tastes like to me. It is so sweet that I can only taste the sugar in sweet tea. It's sugar tea.
That's hysterical to me. That proves to me that I'm more country than I actually think I am.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing more refreshing to me than sweet tea.
Oh, I don't
drink it a lot.
There's nothing refreshing about sweet tea to me. It is,
that's hysterical.
It's like
that's hilarious.
It's like drinking a pump of like actual syrup before you put it in the coffee for flavoring. That's what sweet tea tastes like to me.
So what do y'all drink up there?
Well, I'm sure some people do drink sweet tea up here, I guess. I bet you, here's the thing. Why are we talking about this? I bet no one in the Midwest actually knows how to make good sweet tea, and so it all just tastes like
you don't.
Kool-Aid probably.
Right.
So I just drink iced tea, like just a bag of tea that's just been iced. So it's just literal.
That's hilarious.
It's like iced black tea, basically, is what I drink. And
I
maybe
literally thought every day about you calling it sugar tea because you were so put off that it was happening.
Yeah,
I like you couldn't kind of believe it.
I know. I bet you maybe 1 or 2 people are on my side and the rest are on your side about sweet tea, but it's not for me.
I bet not.
Do you know how I can get us back on track, Kale?
Do it.
Sugar tea makes me want to cry. It really does. When I go to a restaurant and they don't have unsweetened iced tea, it makes me want to cry. I get emotional about it.
Well, okay. Great job.
Which is the episode we're talking about.
Yes.
Is okay. There it is. I was like, do you not know what show we're doing today?
No, my gosh.
You seemed very confused about how that was at all a transition.
No, I did. I got it.
Okay. Good for you. Good for you. For the listeners at home who don't know.
What if this was the moment you realized I misunderstood the assignment?
I would never be surprised by that. I'm always shocked that you did understand the assignment. So I'm always like, oh, all right, here we are.
Okay.
Here we are.
All righty.
So if you don't know, we are, in fact, talking about our Fab-Five moments in Disney cinematic history that make us emotional, make us cry, make us tear up, whether or not that's happy tears or sad tears or angry tears. It's all represented here.
Yes, cry babies.
It's the crybaby episode, that's for sure.
It is the crybaby episode. So I'm not going to lie. Research for this episode was quite emotionally draining.
Of course it was.
It really was. And I think when really thinking about it, I kind of thought it was going to be way easier to make a list. Did you as well? And then when you really started to think about it, it got very difficult.
I mean, in that I had to narrow it down to 5, right? Like there's so many moments in Disney history.
Very much so.
That, I mean, that's what Disney does, right? Disney and Pixar and even Marvel and Star, like they pull at your heartstrings in one way or another. So it was tough to really narrow it down. And then I went on the path of like, oh, that does make me emotional, but not sad. And so then I was like, there's so many happy things that make me cry too.
Yes. No, you're exactly right. There were several things where, because originally when we started doing this, I think I was focusing very much on the sad. Yeah. And then it was sort of like, but I react stronger to this. Like it does make me want to cry, but it's not a sad feeling.
Exactly.
Right? Like it's sort of a, and then also I had to start weeding stuff out that maybe the first time I watched it really did make me cry, but I needed to sort of relive it and sort of say, every time I watch this, it makes me feel this way. That's why it's going on the list. Does that make sense?
100%. That I narrowed my list down to things that even when I think about them, I get emotional. Yeah.
Patrick, look at us.
I know.
Asynchronous work.
We both
and getting
understood
A plus.
the
Yes.
Good for us. Good for us. All right. Well, so do you want to just jump into it? Or I know that we also asked JT and Kale to send us one of their moments that make them emotional. Do we want JT and Kale? I just said JT and Kale. JT and Ryan, you're Kale, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
Yes. Yeah,
okay,
thank you
great.
very much.
Fantastic. We asked them to send us one of their moments. Should we read those first, or should we save them to the end?
We'll start off with JT and Ryan. And
Okay.
you do not know JT's and I do not know Ryan's.
This is true.
We put so much, we go above and beyond, you and I. Okay.
Extra credit.
Right. Okay. JT's crybaby moment.
Yes.
My crybaby moment is The Place Where Lost Things Go from Mary Poppins Returns.
Oh,
it's a song about the pain of nostalgia and on a deeper level, loss and grief, which also feeds nostalgia. But it's also hopeful in that it reminds us that what or who we love is never truly lost to us. It's in our memories, in the way those people and things shape the parts of ourselves that inspire us, and in the way they expand our heart and our capacity to love.
Come on, JT.
And then I ghosted him. I never responded. I should have at least told him thank you.
And you're like, bye. Thank you for sharing that emotional moment. Bye.
No, that is a good one. So it's
really
funny
good
too, because
one.
I bet this happens when we do this. I bet mine and yours either match to where this is no fun, or every time you mention one, it's something that wasn't even on my radar, and I'm like, yeah, do you know what I mean?
Mhm. Was that on your radar?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But as soon as he said it, I was like, well, of course.
Yeah.
You know?
It was. I had thought about it briefly, but I didn't even put it on my list because it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough of a poll for me. But I totally
I get that.
understand where he's coming from. On that one.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Which is interesting. We'll talk about it in a second here. So let me go on to Ryan. So Ryan sent us his, and he says, my favorite cry moment is in Onward, when Ian realizes that he's been so hurt and sad by the absence of his deceased father. When he sees his brother embracing his dad, he realized that he had a piece of his dad all along with his brother, and his brother had been there to support all of his life moments that his dad had to miss out on. He goes on to say, as someone whose mother passed away at a young age, this movie was the first time I saw my grief on screen as a child. Ooh, Ryan.
Yeah. So that one was actually on my radar.
Okay,
I played around with putting it on the list and actually put it in my list of honorable mentions. He is absolutely correct. It's a
very, very much that.
Yes.
Yeah.
A very emotional scene.
He and I had a brief conversation about it. I was like, well, thank you for sharing that. That's a very vulnerable thing
Right.
to share with us. And I totally,
Yes.
Onward, it's such, we talk about Onward a lot in that we don't talk about Onward very much on the show.
I agree. No, I absolutely agree.
It gets slept on, and because of the time, literally the time that it came out in, right before the pandemic hit. But that movie hit so many people so specifically, anyone who like has lost a parent or who has lost someone very close to them. And that has, knock on wood, so far not happened to me. And so
Right.
that pain doesn't hit me the way it would hit someone like Ryan. So I totally,
Absolutely, yeah.
Which goes into the conversation of, it's so interesting. You and I were talking about this a little bit before we get into our Fab-Five, that emotions are so, like, everyone gets hit by different things in different ways. And so I bet you our lists are going to be actually very different because, like, who knows what will set someone off emotionally. You never know.
Yeah.
It could be the weirdest thing to you is the saddest thing to somebody else, or the funniest thing to somebody else. It's so fascinating to me.
No, absolutely. You're correct.
So I'm interested. I hope all of our tweets will send us their moments as well. I'll be very interested to hear that. All right.
Yes.
So with that being said, I have a full disclosure moment in that we usually do our Fab Fives in order of like,
Right.
our we save one for like, this is the most on the scale of a 1 to 5. These are all kind of the same for me when it comes to emotional impact. And so they're just
Same.
in no particular order are mine.
Yeah. We talked about it the other night, and I think that you and I both sort of said, depending on how you're feeling in the moment you're making the list, it totally makes the numbering completely different.
Yeah.
I do have to say that I do have a top one that I'll probably will save to the end.
Okay,
Just
great.
one that always never fails to above and beyond to make me a crybaby, but the rest of them, no particular order.
Okay, absolutely.
And so, yes.
I'll do the same then. There is one that actually definitely does make me like, what? Like lose it every time I even think about it. So I'll save it for that too. Okay, great.
If it's the same moment, I'm gonna flip this table.
I'm gonna barf all over this microphone if it's the same one, and then cry on it probably. All right, who's going first?
Okay, I will go first. I will start.
Great.
Okay,
I'm excited.
So this one is super. I feel like this one is not a lot of people are going to know it, but as soon as I say it, everybody's going to go, "Oh my gosh, you're correct!" It's Mrs. Pheasant from Bambi.
Mm-hmm.
The moment where she sort of has that sort of mental breakdown and tries to escape and gets shot. I remember as a kid not being able to fully watch that scene without, shivering and my body tensing up, and I still can't as an adult. That's absolutely true. And so I know that one is not as emotionally draining as other moments. It's one that still to this day, every time I see it, leaves the exact same impression that it did the first time I saw it.
Well, it's like shocking almost too.
It's incredibly shocking.
Yeah.
And I think Bambi gets a bad rap sometimes for being a highly emotional movie.
What do you mean bad rap?
Well, not necessarily a bad rap, but I think that all anybody ever talks about is how Bambi is so sad, right? Like Bambi is quite a sad movie.
Yeah.
I personally think that Bambi is a beautiful movie, and I think that not that sad can't be beautiful, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes I think that scene is just so intense that, like, okay, did that have to happen? And then sometimes I when I do watch it, it sort of seems like, yes, it should have. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's sort of, I feel like it was somehow a realistic reaction that someone would have in a crisis. And as sad as it is, and as intense as it is, it's, appropriate, but
yeah,
absolutely disturbing.
Very much that. And Walt Disney knew what he was doing when he wanted to do Bambi, because he was like, well, this movie is for adults and for kids. This is why cartoons are not just for kids. This is a very adult movie, but children need to learn about these things too. And so it was a risk that paid off.
Yep.
Oof,
Bye pheasant.
Oh boy.
Sorry.
Good one. Good. Off to a shocking start already.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, so my first one is from Cars 2. I'm just kidding. Absolutely not.
Oh my God. Okay. I was literally about to go, what?
No, not from Cars 2. I am going to open with the very end of the movie Coco. Is really like tears me apart, specifically where Miguel is desperately trying to get Mama Coco to remember, and he sings him the song Remember Me, and she joins him, and they remember Hector together. And boy, oh boy, that every time I think about it, every time I watch it, it just tears me up. Because it's like, oh my gosh, they did it. They finally did it. Like it's a release as well.
Right.
But it's also like one of my biggest fears in life, I'm going to be very vulnerable here, is like being forgotten, right? Like not having left enough of an impact on life that I just am forgotten. And that just sort of is all encapsulated in like 30 seconds of the film of like, he's fully going to be gone. And because it's insane to me, right? I don't know.
Oh, PK, you made me tear up a tiny bit.
Oh,
no. So you're absolutely correct. All of those emotions during that scene.
Ugh.
Also, that one was on my list. It's in my honorable mentions. That one was on my list like literally until yesterday.
It hits
I
so
can't
hard.
even. Yeah, I can't even listen to like the upbeat version of that song without my mind immediately going to the end of that film.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like, it's all just a perfect, and like the young boy who sings it, his voice is just so pure and innocent and so full of strife. It's just like, oh my gosh, what are you doing to me? So yeah, that whole movie is just emotional and beautiful, but that specific moment gets me every single time.
Completely.
Every time. Yeah. All right, moving on. Number four.
Okay, so this is one that it's sort of a recent one, but I remember being in the movie theater and I'm not a big crier really, but I remember this one, like I could not stop crying. And it sometimes, if I'm watching the film or if I'm listening to a sort of playlist, if it comes on and it's just an inappropriate time, I have to skip over it, right? But it's The Next Right Thing from Frozen 2.
Good one.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. I absolutely love Kristen Bell. I think she has an amazing singing voice. To me, it's not even about the I guess, sort of singing quality of the song.
Yeah.
It's the way she acts the song. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Like this passion and this emotion that she puts into it. And it's like everything that she says, it matches what's happening on his face and it matches what's happening around her. And it just a gut-wrenchingly beautiful moment because in that moment, Anna is under the impression that Elsa's gone and she's not coming back, right?
Everyone's
and
gone.
also Olaf. Yeah. All of them. Yeah. And but it's sort of, I mean, it to this day when I watch it, it still sort of makes me emotional, like it was the first time when even though I know Elsa's coming back, I know Olaf's coming back, now. Spoiler. but I truly think that is one of the most underrated and also one of the most beautiful moments in a Disney film.
Very. I mean, like the whole. I mean, it's just about. It's almost. You could argue that like that's where she discovers her maturity and her power of like. I don't want to do this by myself, but I have to. And
right.
So whatever step is next is whatever step is next. And like, I'm serving no one by giving up. And so it's like, oh my gosh.
No, you're absolutely right, because there's never a, it's not a song where she immediately, puts her hair back into a ponytail and is like, let's work through this. Yeah. It's literally a song where she goes through, like you said, every one foot in front of the other, every step of what she's feeling, right? Can there be a day beyond this night? Because it's
almost her like going through all the stages of grief.
It is. Yes. Yeah. It is. And even at the end of the song, the only thing, she doesn't have an answer. The only thing she can tell herself is to do the next right thing, which is beautiful.
I mean, it's all any of us can ever do. It's great.
I know.
Great. Good one. Good.
Thank you.
So good. In fact, my number 4.
I love doing
Kale,
these with you.
Same here. These are always so fun. Good conversations. But my number 4, yours was so good, was actually right before your number 4 in the song "Show Yourself." Makes me lose it.
Every time.
Every single time, for the exact opposite reason that the next right thing does, right? Because it's such a powerful song, and specifically, it's like this. I mean, it's Elsa's finding out who she is and realizing the lyric. You are the one you've been waiting for all this time. I'm already getting like
I know
that message,
but I feel like by the we get to number 5, both of us are gonna, because I keep tearing up too.
If I could open up the heads of every child out there who needs to hear that message and just like sew it into their brain of you are the one. You have the power. No one else is going to treat you as well as you need to treat yourself. Like, it's such a powerful
And then in the
message.
other ear, I go, oh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but that I remember seeing that movie in the theater, and I bawled during that. It was, and then they had the audacity to hit us with the next right thing.
God,
like moments later,
I know.
I'm not ready for this. Like they took us on this journey up of like, oh my God, Elsa's is like finally found out who she is, and then everyone's gone.
Right, there should be a character study to see what kind of personality you have, depending on if you were more affected by Show Yourself or the next right thing. What a cool idea, right?
Yeah. Oh, fair. Oh,
that's a very, very good one.
They knew what they were doing in that.
They did.
That 15-minute sequence. Like we went on a roller coaster.
I know. I know.
Good job. This is why Frozen 2, I think, also gets slept on of like how
it absolutely does.
That movie is. It's so
I agree.
Good.
I know that this is an unpopular opinion. I prefer the sequel to the first.
Oh, I don't. I think a lot of people do. I would
you
say
think so?
I think it's 100 like miles better than the first movie for me.
Oh, I do too.
I mean, it's sort of
very much so.
It's sort of a study on like a lot of people grew up with the first one, and now they watch the second one as new adults. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
it was a coming of age story. It's amazing. Anyways, we can go on forever about
It's
it.
so good. I know. I know.
All right. Number three.
Okay, so this one might be the tiniest bit obscure, but I think that you're going to relate to it.
Okay.
I always get emotional during Saving Mr. Banks when she finally starts dancing to "Let's Go Fly a Kite." And then I know that we wanted to focus on one specific moment, but it links back to the end of the film.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. When she's sitting in the theater after all is said and done, and she's looking at the screen and crying and singing along with the film to "Let's Go Fly a Kite." And it just seems like it's all come very full circle.
Yeah.
Which I know I love Saving Mr. Banks. I know we've talked about that on this podcast a lot.
It's
of
so
how
good.
much it's so good.
Yeah.
And I also know that sort of that film, it is a fictitious version of events that happened, which even though very true, more than likely that's not what P.L. Travers was doing in the movie theater during that moment, right? She was cursing the fact that there was animation in the film.
I don't think she even went. Did she even? I don't think she went to the movie. Did she?
No, I
can't remember.
actually think that part of the film is true, that he did not invite her, but I don't think it was that he didn't want her to go. I think he assumed she didn't want to go, and then she called and was like, "This is my film."
Yeah.
But I think that there actually are pictures of her at the premiere.
Got it.
But I mean, for the sake of let's say for just keeping it to Saving Mr. Banks, for the sake of that character to see the dad become the hero live on the screen and how it brings her childhood and her entire story full circle, that to me is a beautiful moment.
It's remarkable how emotional that movie is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
About the making of Mary Poppins. You know what I mean? It's
no,
crazy.
right?
Yeah.
That to me is one of the best things to ever come out of Walt Disney, the Walt Disney Company. It is an incredible film.
Yeah, yeah, and that's such a great moment. On my almost made it list was when she gives a sign. Was it I can't remember what she gave him. She gave Paul Giamatti's character, the driver, a list of names of women who, I think it was women specifically, or it was just famous people who had obstacles to overcome that he had to get to us. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that is
his daughter Jane. I know.
Yeah. Yep.
His daughter named Jane.
Yep. Yeah. Such a good. That movie is so great.
It's so amazing.
Very, very emotionally impactful.
But yeah, there are a lot of sort of like kind of tear-jerky moments in that film, but it never fails at the end when she's singing "Let's Go Fly a Kite" for the last time to the film, and she's like bawling that
And what a wonderful performance too. Like,
my gosh. I mean, everybody, even
everybody.
I can't think of either of their names right now, but the gentleman who played the Sherman brothers. I mean, every person in that film is perfectly cast. But
yeah.
Actually, should we have played the Sherman brothers?
The Sherman sisters, if we did it. 100% that. Good
Perfect.
one. Okay, number three for me.
Yes.
I am adding to the list. It's a Disney short. It's not a cinematic feature, but it was the short that came on before Encanto called Far From the Tree. Do you remember this one?
No, I do not.
Oh my gosh, it is so good. It's about the raccoon family. So it starts with a father and a daughter raccoon, and the father. The premise is that the father is really overprotective. Father, in that he doesn't want his daughter to get into danger, but he's a little bit almost. I would use the word abusive about it, because he wants to protect her so much, but he doesn't know how to do it, and so he's doing it sort of the wrong way, I would say. She ends up getting attacked by a fox, I think, and he saves her, but then instead of comforting her, he scolds her for disobeying him, and then they sort of turn away from each other, and she's crying, and he doesn't know how to comfort her. We cut to then, I'm going to get really sad. She is now a parent, and she has a young boy, and she's also very protective of him. But halfway through the her being overly protective, she almost goes to hit him, and then she sees herself as her father and goes, what am I doing? Basically, this is not how we show love. And so she changes how she protects him. She decides to protect him with love instead of with hate and with abusiveness. And she breaks the cycle of abuse, and she breaks this cycle of like generational trauma.
Powerful. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so good. And I'm not giving it justice. You go see it. It's on Disney Plus. It is. Every parent needs to watch it. Every child needs to watch it to like sort of get the perspective of like why someone is approaching something that the way they are, and that there's a better way to do it if you're leaving somebody marked for the worse. You know what I mean?
My gosh, yeah.
I watched it again yesterday, and I shouldn't have because I would just. Like,
I haven't even seen this, and I'm teary-eyed watching you get teary-eyed.
But imagine, like Disney approaching like abuse and generational trauma, and it's really it's incredibly impactful. So I implore you all to go watch it.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, I think it's only literally like 7 minutes long too. So they pack a punch.
Perfect. Okay. So this one is one that more than anything is really sweet. And I think that I even broke my own rule by adding this one to the list because this is something that I don't think I really took to heart until my adult years.
Okay.
You know, I'm a firm believer that, you know, the family is important. However, I think that it's been said many times, you know, us as gay people, and one of the ways we're very lucky is that we do get to sort of choose our family, right? And if that family happens to be a blood family, awesome, but not always,
Great.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think that in Lilo and Stitch, at the very end, when they're sort of deciding what they're going to do, and Stitch says, Ohana means family, after it's been said throughout the film, and you know it's kind of this cute thing between Lilo and Nani. To hear him say it, because it's sort of how he feels now, right? It's you know they're his family, they're sort of a part of him and his heart. Whenever I like even read Ohana means family on something, my mind is immediately taken to like my support group of you know the boys and Steve and you and JT and Ryan, and you know it just it makes me insanely happy that I have what I have, you know, and
and that people like find you when you need to be found sometimes.
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
It's yeah. That movie was so unexpectedly emotional, Lilo and Stitch. You know,
and do you want to know something?
In space with an alien who's
I know.
a bad guy, sort of at the beginning. You know,
I know. And then, no, but you're absolutely correct. And I will also say this is what's hilarious too is I feel like stuff speaks to me deeper the older I get, because I don't ever remember like the Ohana means family thing being a kid or a teenager. I don't ever remember that making me feel any kind of way, right? But now it's like, I don't know, like there's something about it that really does sort of, him specifically in that scene at the very end, right? When like everything is, the crap has sort of hit the fan, so to speak, and they don't really know what to do. Yeah. And, you know, that's sort of what he says. And, you know, or forgotten. And it just sort of, it makes me emotional. I am dreading having to talk about the next one. So you go.
No, that's a great one. How are we at number 2 already? So this is interesting in that I'm piggybacking off of your Lilo and Stitch story with a different one that has something to do with Lilo and Stitch. Okay. I'm talking about the entire movie, basically, but a very specific moment in it. In the movie, Better Nate Than Ever. Boy, oh boy, that movie. Hearing Ruby Wood sing anything in that movie makes me weep with joy, with desperation. It makes me so happy for this next generation of young gay kids who are coming up and who hopefully, you know, not everybody, but just know who they are and have a little bit of a safer space than we did when we were growing up.
Could you have imagined something like that when we were his age,
Absolutely
like in film? I know,
not.
right?
Yeah,
insane.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me like sort of jealous of like what could have been. if we had
Absolutely.
that. You know, every song
I completely
is just,
agree.
Yeah, every song is so incredible. You can just hear the passion in Ruby's voice whenever he sings. Just opening his mouth, I am gobsmacked by the joy that's coming out of him. But so all this to say, the song at the end, when he's finally auditioning for Lilo and Stitch the musical,
right?
No one gets left behind.
Yeah,
this song, it is so good, and the lyrics in one of the phrases, it's a little long, but I have to read it because it spoke to me so much. The lyrics go, "I'll admit I don't know much about this life. I spent a long time on the outside looking in, never feeling accepted, thinking that's just the way it was. But something happened. Somehow life brought you to me. And I think that's when I realized I belong. My family's been here all along, and boy, it's good to have a friend."
I'm sorry.
I mean, just think those lyrics are so in this silly little musical about a kid who wants to audition for Lilo and Stitch the musical, and then they throw that at us. I'm just like,
I know,
how
right?
dare you? But it's so
that's
so
a
beautiful.
good one though. It is.
Yeah, and it's one of those what I'm talking about of like, in no way was this movie sad. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
it was emotional, and there were moments of like, oh gosh, I really want, but like,
yeah,
it was one of the first times that I was like, Disney really sees us.
Oh, absolutely.
Right
well,
now.
you know, and even like contrary to what I just said a minute ago, like when I was like, could you imagine a movie like that when we were kids, right? Like how much did we need that, right?
Yeah.
But I think that movie came out, I was 32. I needed it just as much then.
Very much.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's a very, very, very good one. That was not even on my radar, but you're spot on. Seriously,
it hits me every single time. It's so good. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and watch it. It's so beautiful.
It is. It's so good.
Oh, we're at number 1 already.
I know. Okay, I'm bracing myself. All right.
I'm so interested.
All right. So this one, I very much think that you're going to fully understand this, but the one that I can never get through but can't look away from is so in the film Inside Out. At the very end, spoiler, but you know, in the very end, you know, joy and sadness sort of, you know, make their way back to the headquarters, and you know, Riley sort of gets off the bus and she runs into the house, and the parents have been worried, and you know, they sort of this whole time, even Riley's head, the 4 characters have sort of thought that the whole time what they needed was joy. And Joy has realized that no, she needs the sadness to feel and acknowledge what's happening. And so she sort of lets sadness like take the helm. And then on the outside, I'm sorry.
No, I totally get it.
And then on the outside, when the parents, you know, Riley walks in and they go up to her, and she says to them, I know you don't want me to be sad. And it's this moment of, and it's a huge metaphor for depression, right? It's not really so much said in the movie, but we know that it is.
Yeah.
But the part that gets me truly is the parents' reaction to it, because there's never well, everything's going to be okay. There's never well, you know, just don't think about it or snap out of it. It's literally this moment of sort of, this isn't a direct quote, but it's this moment of, what do you need from us? We're right here with you. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I just feel like, I was very, very fortunate to where, because being a kid is hard enough. I did not have anxiety or depression as a kid. It didn't really, but then when I turned 22, it was like it all was made up for. but I couldn't imagine being a kid, and on top of how hard it is to be a kid, to have feelings like that, right? And I think what a message to kids, but then also what a message to their parents, you know? Don't tell your kids that, you know, go outside, you'll feel better. You know, sometimes you just have to look at them and you just have to say, hey, what do you need from me? I'm right here next to you. Do you know what I mean? Feel however you need to feel, and I'll be right here, you know? that to me, I every time when that scene comes on, when they're in the kitchen and it's really emotional with the characters in her head, and then it's really emotional in the kitchen, I'm bawling.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It to me is the most emotional scene.
It's for a couple of reasons too. Like I totally get what you're saying. Like it's emotional because in my head, I'm like, God, I know exactly what that feels like.
Right. Exactly.
But also how wonderful that Disney is putting out this message of like, feel your feelings. Like,
no, absolutely. Like
they're there for a reason. We don't.
Yes.
Yeah. Like sometimes feeling sad isn't weakness.
No, absolutely. Right? I mean, she truly had to feel sad to be happy again. You know, some of these memories, they had to become sad memories so that she could make new joyful memories, right?
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's insane because I think it shows that, you know, that sort of snap out of it, or quit being so sad, or quit being such a downer. You know, it's sort of, you know, sometimes that's, I do not think that having depression is being a downer, or it's being sad, or
No.
if it's a refusal to be happy. I don't believe in any of that. But
yeah.
I do think that sometimes you have to feel it, and it stinks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, but sometimes you just have to feel it. And the fact that, if you think about it, the four characters are Riley. And so technically the only person, or the only thing putting pressure on her to not feel it, is Riley.
Right.
And so it's kind of sorry, that movie is so deep.
No, it's true. And that we often don't know, especially when you're that age, but even at this age, I still don't know like what I need and what I want when I want it. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what I want right now. But that being said, you and I have talked about this a lot. I think we've talked about on the pod too, of like, sometimes when you are feeling sad for whatever reason, doesn't matter what it is, the last thing you want is for someone to go, let's just go for a walk instead, or let me make you laugh. What you want is someone to say, let me sit down with you and I'll just sit here.
Right.
You tell me what you need. And if you don't want to say anything at all, don't say anything at all. Just be whatever you want to be. And that's all you need sometimes. And you don't realize it.
And to me, that's exactly what like the parents sort of, you know, do for her in that moment. And I will even say that I know we went off on a rampage on this one. I'm so sorry. But I'm even guilty of that sometimes. Movie. I think that, you know, that I love to make people laugh. My least favorite thing, right, is a frowny face. And if I can make someone, you know, laugh by being goofy or something. But you're right. Sometimes it's just unnecessary. Sometimes it's not what they need in that moment. They need to feel what they're feeling. And I think that that's the perfect way to describe that scene in the film. And that's my number one.
Good number one. I bet that's on a lot of people's number one list. Is that movie in general is just
for sure.
It's very emotional.
Bing Bong was kind of annoying, so I actually don't get that sad with the Bing Bong scene. Is that weird? Yeah, people are gonna come for me.
No, you know what? I actually don't love the character Bing Bong either, but
I don't either.
But I did get torn up because of like the messaging behind what had to happen with Bing Bong. So, anyways, I get it. Yeah. I did not cry as hard as a lot of people did during that part. Though. I cried.
I did not.
I cried at the end instead, like you did.
Oh no, the end, like that scene to me is gut wrenching.
Yeah.
But
very much.
Sacred's out. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Last one. Are we ready for this one?
Ready.
So my moment that always makes me cry is a sad one. It is the moment in Dumbo, of all movies.
Oh, yeah.
Where so it's right after the mother, Mrs. Jumbo. She loses her cool. For a reason, because she's protecting her child, and they lock her up. And then, but right before Dumbo is about to run away, he finds her, and they know each other are there, but they can't see each other. And so she puts her trunk out, and she lowers it down so they can touch, and then she holds him with her trunk, but she can't see her child. And that moment is so heart-wrenching. Because she's like saying to him, like, I get it, you have to go, but I don't want you to go, because that to me is the saddest thing that can ever happen to a person, is when you're not ready to say goodbye to somebody and yet you have to, right? Like, nothing can prepare you for that. It tears me up inside.
It is. I know.
It's a 4-minute little scene, and it's just done beautifully through animation with just his mother's arm, basically holding her son for the last time, potentially, right? Ooh-wee. That moment is heart-wrenching to me. But yeah, like I said, it's about like being torn away from somebody before you're ready to is horrific. And so
absolutely,
that was devastating. Anyways,
well, Patrick, I thought earlier in the week that this was a good idea.
And yet we're causing like car accidents.
I know.
Probably people are
My
like,
gosh,
no.
I know.
Or people are like, you guys are idiots. This is not sad.
Right. People are like, oh, Kale's upset at Inside Out, a comedy. Right.
An animated elephant makes you cry? Right. Okay. All right.
Oh, God. Okay, so did you happen to have any honorable mentions? I know you and I typically like to keep track of but if you don't, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Obviously, the opening sequence of Up was on there.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I feel like that's definitely one for everybody.
So I obviously had Remember Me. I obviously had the final battle scene in Onward where he sees the dad embrace the brother.
Yeah, for sure.
But one that was not on anybody's radar apparently was the goodbye scene in Luca. And that's not necessarily, I don't find it super gut-wrenching, but I think it's very, very sweet. And I like the fact that it sort of it shows this sort of male to male love, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's a crush or whether it's completely platonic and nothing but a friendship. I think that's important, and 100%. I think it's a beautiful scene.
Yeah. Absolutely. I have the song "All of You" from Encanto at the end of the movie, where like the whole town is like, "It's not about your gift, it's about you." I mean, but I didn't add it because it felt like "Show Yourself" a little bit.
Right.
Only "Show Yourself" impacted me a little bit more. I also have in Toy Story 3, where they're all going into the incinerator and they all just they accept their fate and they all hold hands together, and that just tore me up. And then I mean. Old Yeller, obviously, as well. I have on my list of.
Do you know I've never seen Old Yeller?
Don't watch it. I can't recommend it.
Okay,
I cannot recommend it.
So I had from Toy Story 2, When She Loved Me.
Oh yeah, that's
which is but I mean it's Sarah McLachlan, right? She could sing. Come on,
anything. She could sing a Taylor Dane song, and I'm gonna cry.
Yeah. She could sing "Born This Way," and I would literally be like, "Why was I born?"
Yeah. So, Sarah McLachlan covers "Tell It to My Heart." And I'm
right.
Like, oh no.
And then the biggest tragedy of all, Rapunzel's haircut.
Fair. That's a fair.
The biggest tragedy of all. Patrick, I love doing these with you.
Yeah, these are always so great. I love Fab-Five episodes, for sure.
Do you love doing them with me the most?
Yeah? Obviously.
So which one of the other two do you like doing it with the least?
I think you're the only one who I've done a Fab-Five with.
I was about to say, I don't think any of the other. I know.
So you are, in fact, my favorite.
Your favorite.
Fab-Five. Yeah.
Aww. Nice.
No, this was a lot of fun, even though it was about crying. But, listen.
It was about crying.
Sadness
this is also
well.
We got through a main segment in less than 45 minutes. That is unheard of for you and I, by the way.
We're still talking, so you never know.
F. Yes, you're right.
No, but we do want to hear. This is one that I say it all the time, but this time I mean it. No, but I really want to hear everybody send us your favorite crybaby moment in Disney cinematic history. Whether or not it makes you cry because you're sad, because you're happy, because you're angry, whatever you're feeling, let us know what makes you so emotional. You can send us those moments via email or voice memo to info@gazewithd.com, or find us on social media. Slip into our DMs at GDTD Podcast.
Or you can text Patrick Kazuki personally at 607. Just kidding.
Yes, please do that. What else makes you cry, Kale? Sugar tea.
Sugar tea. Okay. Sugar tea.
That's the name of my book, Sugar Tea.
No, do you know what I always hear, though? I always hear the people get sad like the last night of vacation. For me, that is the opposite. I love being on vacation. I love being on vacation, but there's something about, I don't know if it's a weird way to avoid the end of vacation, but once vacation is over, I'm so ready to get home.
Yeah. I totally get that. There's like a kale size hole in the wall. You're just like, I'm out. Bye.
Ah, yeah. The wall part of the ceiling. Yeah. Hey, Patrick.
Yes, Kale?
No, you don't remember why you didn't do it back.
Because I refrained from doing it, because we do it every single time now.
Hey, Quick D, is that the BB-8 behind you? It's fully functional?
It used to be, but it is not
You broke
anymore.
it? You did something weird to it?
No, let's unpack that for a second. No, I got it, and it didn't come with a remote. It was like somebody gave it to me, but they didn't have the remote for it anymore, and so
They
I was
didn't
like,
give you the
just-
remote.
No, but it's
Well, this person is no
it's a good
friend.
size. I know, no friend of mine. Whatever.
Right.
I wish it was because it's enormous. You can only see it sort of small in the background, but it's huge, actually.
Oh, yeah, so to me, it looks like the one, I built one years ago at Galaxy's Edge, but it looks,
It's
from
double-
this angle, it looks like
It's
Sorry,
double that
I know
size
none
in
of you
real
at
life.
home can see, but
But that's your problem, not ours.
yep,
So-
not ours. Patrick,
Oh dear. Yes, Kale.
you want to answer some Quick D?
I do. I really do. I do indeed.
So, do you want to ask me what it is, since you have the question?
What? Oh,
I'm steering a ship with a blindfold here.
What do you think Quick D is, Kale?
Okay. Quick D
Here we
is
go.
when there's a word on the screen and
Nope.
no.
I will stop recording so quickly if we go through that again.
Okay, I'm sorry. Y'all,
No,
Patrick
explain to the
hates secret
Tweedles.
words.
Explain to the Tweedles what Quick D is. Quickly.
Quick D
Kale.
is when we are asked a random question by one of you and we have to answer it rapidly.
Couldn't have sounded more bored. Thank you for that. Great. Okay.
He accuses me every show of not knowing what Quick D is.
Now I'm accusing you of having no emotions whatsoever on the most emotional episode that's ever happened
Okay.
on Gaze of the Day.
I'm
All right,
wiped out.
Are you ready for a question? We have crowdsourced it from our Tweedles.
Yes, I'm ready.
All right,
I'm
here we
ready for
go.
my first question.
We're only going to do one, I think. Just
I know.
because feel like
I
we have to
know
touch up.
I was being taken back to my pageant days.
Fantastic. So this question comes from Austin J. Haynes, who asks, what do you think is going to replace the Galactic Star Cruiser?
Ooh.
I like this. I like this question because we
I do
can
too.
speculate so much on
know.
it.
I mean, I guess. I don't know if I think this, but what I hope.
Yeah.
I hope that it is something Star Wars related. I hope that it's some sort of Star Wars experience that, is a little bit more accessible.
Price wise, yes.
Price wise, and also yes, absolutely. But yeah, I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know
that.
what is it though. What is it? It's
I feel like it's more. They're going to like retheme it to like the Star Booty Cruiser, and it's going to be like they're a red light district situation.
My gosh, I would live. I would live.
It's just a Star Wars gay nightclub now instead.
Oh my gosh! If it's Xanadu,
It's the Cantinas
It is.
instead. That would be fantastic. Thank you.
So yeah. What do you hope that it's going to be? Real answer only.
Oh, in real life?
Yeah.
You know what? This is boring, and my friend Justin called me out. He was like, really, that? But I think it's kind of fierce. So I think that they should do, and they could change it up all the time, make it into a giant escape room situation.
That's yeah.
Do you
That's
think it'd be
cool.
fun? Because
I do.
They could
I
theme
mean-
it after like any new movie that's coming out, because it's near Hollywood Studios. Word on the street.
Oh,
So they could do
you
it
know,
like a movie themed something or another.
Let me ask you this, because I haven't really looked. I know that there's supposed to be direct access from the Galactic the Galactic Star Cruiser to Galaxy's Edge, correct?
I don't know how it exactly works, but they do.
Same.
You do an excursion to Batuu from. I'll report on this in a month, but so part of the trip is that you go into Batuu as well. So they get you there somehow. I just don't know how they do it.
It would be cool if it could just act as an expansion to that area, right? But I know that's probably more difficult than even just retheming the building.
Right? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to work. 'Cause I don't even think that they can do a Star Wars anything anymore with it for legal reasons, because they're closing what it was, and it was a Star Wars themed situation. So who knows? I don't know anything. But Red Light District it is. You know what I mean?
What if it becomes the Kale Show residency?
That could be interesting.
I think so too.
The new GDTD studios could be there.
Oh my God, that's what it is. Petition. Someone start a petition.
We do need all that space for our egos alone. They won't
We
fit
do.
anywhere
For my
else.
legs alone. Yeah.
That will do it for this episode of Gaze Do the D. Thanks for listening. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gazedothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gaze Do the D content and help us continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. Continue the conversation after this episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast. Submit your questions or show ideas to info@gazedothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See ya real soon.